All right, Dad, so let's get to your power rankings. Last week, you had the Cowboys at 6, Ravens at 5, Lions at 4, Eagles at 3, 49ers at 2, and Chiefs at 1. So you got any changes for this week?
Yeah, see, I can tell you right now, the Cowboys ain't in there.
Yeah, I would think so,
And
yeah.
the Ravens ain't in there, and the Lions ain't in there.
Right.
I could surely tell you that, but when you look at it, I start off at number 6 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's a 2-0 football team that goes into Detroit when nobody really thought that they would, including myself.
I was going to say, except for me, best bet plus 7.5 hit for the Buccaneers. Just want to add that. We're 2-0, but
Hopefully
continue.
you made some money.
Believe that, but continue.
The Bucs, though, in the end, they 2-0. They're sitting at 6.
Okay.
Number 5 for me, the New Orleans Saints, another team out of the same division, 2-0. They go into Dallas. Dallas just waxed up Cleveland, even though Carolina gave a real great game to the New Orleans Saints. Woo!
We won't talk about it.
That was such a game, but no, New Orleans took care of business. AK-41 decided that he was going to run the football all over the place in Alvin Kamara. Derek Carr looked like the Derek Carr that Michael Thomas thought he was getting last year, and he's just on fire. They scored 91 points in the first 2 games. They sit at the number 5 spot.
They got a new offensive coordinator, right?
They got a new offensive coordinator in Gary Kubiak's son, who is pretty good. I mean, he's obviously changing some stuff around. You see a lot of pre-snap motions. It's almost like the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan system that's employed, and they all kind of come from the same tree. Kubiak was in Denver with Shanahan, and they were all together in Washington with the Gruden. So it's all kind of the same system. So you sitting there with them at the 5th spot. And number 4 for me is the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers drop down because they lose in Minnesota, but they also lose Christian McCaffrey for a little bit, Deebo Samuel for a little bit.
Post game.
They see right now they're 4. Next week, they may not even be in it, depending on how they play, what they look like. Because people would say, well, why they lose? And they're at 4, it don't make no sense. How come Minnesota's not in there? They're 2-0. Well, you don't know if Minnesota's in there. I got 3 more shots of putting them in, right?
Yeah.
But so people would start to question that. But I like San Francisco chances. By the time we get to the end of the year, they're still going to be standing.
Right.
At number 3, I had the Eagles a year ago.
Last week.
But now I got the Buffalo Bills at 2-0, sitting at number 3. They took care of business at home against the Arizona Cardinals in week 1, although they started off rocky. I think at one time it was 17-3. They erased that deficit with Josh Allen. They wound up winning that game, going on the road to Miami, taking care of business in Miami, a team that they've owned for Lord knows how long. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And they win that football game going away. They have control of the division. They sit at number 3. Number 2 was the San Francisco 49ers that dropped from the 2 spot down to the 4 spot. I put a team in there 2-0 in the Houston Texans that was not in here at all last week. They could have been 7. They could have been 8. They could have been 9.
Yeah.
But they're 2-0. They lead the division. I had them at the start of the season as the number 2 team coming out of the AFC. If the Kansas City Chiefs didn't come out of there, I had the Houston Texans coming out of the AFC, and C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins and company and Joe Mixon and company are now sitting at 2-0, and they're number 2 in my power ranking in my top 6 this week. And number 1 is easy. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. There's nothing to – why are we even having a conversation? Although that game was close against the Cincinnati Bengals, they squeaked out 2 consecutive wins, one against the Ravens, the second one against the Kansas City Chiefs. Against the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, what you going to say? You can't dock them because it's close victories. They won the game. They win in many different ways. Now Pacheco's on the shelf. Hollywood Brown's on the shelf. We'll see how they continue to progress as the season wears on.
So you don't like so if we had like the Vikings, where would you put them? Probably 7 or 8? Because you got a team that they beat in the top 5.
Justin Jefferson just got banged up.
Yeah, he's hurt.
I'll probably the Vikings could be in the top 6, 7, somewhere in there. If I really had to really had a gun in my head and I had to choose, they would be 6 or 7. We absolutely hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more from us, hit that subscribe button for all videos, full episodes, and exclusive content from the show. And don't forget to find All Facts, No Breaks on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.